Now, types of carbon. See, now we are going to discuss some of the topics of current nature, and one such is types of carbon. Okay. One is black, the other one is brown. Then we have blue also, green also. Okay. UPSC has already asked about this blue carbon. They have directly given this question, what is blue carbon? I have shown you that question also. Okay. So now see, let us understand these terms. If we talk about black carbon is nothing but a particulate matter, the soot particles, which are present due to incomplete combustion of the fossil fuels or biomass or anything like that. So when you are burning biomass or fossil fuels, if there is incomplete combustion, there will be solid particles, particulate matters, solid particulate matters, black color, and that is what is black carbon. Okay. Whenever you see if a biomass is burned or like stubble burning is there, in that case also what we get? Black carbon into the atmosphere. Okay. So black carbon is the solid soot particle, the solid carbon particle which is a result of incomplete combustion of fossil fuels or biomass. Okay. Understand one thing before we go into this further discussion. See, if you look at biomass, which means it can be wood also, okay, it can be live or dead plant also, it can be animals also, okay. It can simply be the animal waste products also or anything like that. Or when we talk about even fossil fuels, in all these cases, you will find that certain of the gases will be common. And how these are there, let us understand. In almost all the organisms which are there is presence of few elements, and those elements are carbon, nitrogen, sulfur. These three are basically present in all. Phosphorus is also there, but phosphorus doesn't go into gaseous stage. Okay. So carbon, nitrogen and sulfur, this is present inside our body. Carbon is making the entire, you can see that entire thing, muscles and everything which we are having. Carbon is there. The different groups of it is there. The different hydrocarbons are there. The food which we are eating, it is carbohydrate, carbon made. Okay. It is also having nitrogen and sulfur in form of protein, amino acids. So the living organisms which are there, they are basically having all these three components. So when you are burning a biomass, it can be a wood or an animal. You can always expect that oxides of nitrogen, carbon and sulfur will be released into the atmosphere. Okay. So at least these three things will be common. Okay. In some cases you will have release of methane also, in some cases other things can be released, but at least carbon, nitrogen and sulfur, their compounds are going to be released into the atmosphere. Same thing apply with fossil fuels. What are fossil fuels made up of? They are made up of living organisms which have been deposited under the surface of earth for a very long period under very high pressure and temperature. So fossil fuels are also coming from the biomass only. Fossil fuels are not sent to us by anyone else. They are made from the biomass only. It happens over some millions of years, but ultimately it is biomass. And what is biomass consisting of? Carbon, nitrogen and sulfur. So whenever you are burning a fossil fuel, of course there will be release of carbon, nitrogen and sulfur. And now see, fossil fuel you can burn anywhere. You can burn it in thermal power plant, you can use it in the steel industry, you can use it in automobiles, you can use it anywhere. Okay. So whenever you are using the fossil fuels, we will have a release of these things. In some cases it will be very high, in some cases it will be low. Okay. It may be high or it may be low, but there will be release of, at least carbon is one such thing which will always be released. Whenever you are burning biomass or fossil fuel, it will be released. Okay. So even when we are talking about cleaner fuels like this CNG and other things, even then we will have release of carbon dioxide. How anything else can be released? It is made up of carbon and you are burning it. Burning is simply mixing it with oxygen. A chemical reaction with oxygen. That is what is called burning. So whenever you are burning something made of carbon with oxygen, you will have to expect the carbon dioxide. So when you burn biomass or fossil fuels, these are going to be released. Now, come back to our topic, the types of carbon. Okay. One is black carbon, the solid particles which are there. What is the brown carbon? The smoke, the CO2, or even sometimes it can be CO. That smoke which is getting released into the atmosphere, that is simply our brown carbon. Okay. Then these two are from the pollution side and the other two are from the point of view of conservation. Like when we talk about this blue carbon is the carbon captured and sequestrated by the oceanic ecosystem. The oceanic ecosystem which has captured and sequestrated that carbon, it has stored that carbon within itself, that is what we call as blue carbon. Okay. So it is basically the carbon in our oceans. Within that ecosystem, we have plants in our oceans, we have the phytoplanktons, we have the coral reefs. They are absorbing huge amount of carbon dioxide. Oceans are the major sink of carbon dioxide. Okay. So the carbon which is captured and sequestrated by the oceans, oceanic ecosystem, this is what we call as blue. And then you can automatically relate it, green carbon, the carbon which is present in the terrestrial ecosystem. The carbon which is present in our terrestrial ecosystem, that is going to be our green carbon. The plants which are there, over their lifetime, they are going to store huge amount of carbon dioxide. They are going to store it for a longer period of time inside them. Suppose a plant is there for 200 years. In their entire lifetime, they would have captured huge amount of carbon dioxide from the atmosphere. They would have converted it in other form and they are storing it within their body. So that's why plants are the sink. Plants are absorbing the carbon dioxide. And the carbon present in the terrestrial ecosystem, that is our plants mostly. This is what we call as green carbon. I hope these four carbons are clear. We have blue carbon, we have brown carbon, we have black carbon, we have green carbon. Okay. These are from the point of emission and these are from the point of view of conservation.